hello and welcome to this edition of Startup Central. I'm Nayantara working from home. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated, of course, to startups, technology, innovation, disruption, entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, like all the stakeholders, we get on the show. Team Startup Central thrives on constructive feedback. So keep writing into us. Tell us how to improve the show, what we're doing wrong, how we should do things differently, what you'd like to see a part of the show. Our email address is right on top, suc@etnow.tv. You can also reach out to me on Twitter directly. Pitch to us. Who knows, maybe one day you'll even be a part of the show. So have you ever used this app called Truecaller? It helps you screen marketing calls, helps you screen spams. It helps you also figure out unanswered, unknown numbers, who they belong to, helps you get rid of bulk SMSs as well. Now this app is Swedish and has been red flagged by the Indian Army. In fact, the Indian Army recently had asked its soldiers to delete Truecaller from their mobile phones. Now, why is that the case? Truecaller founder in this conversation with me says there's a misconception that Truecaller is Chinese, doesn't have a single Chinese on board, no Chinese shareholder, no office in China, and it is 100% Swedish. Is requesting the Indian authorities to reverse its advisory.
People in the team in India right now, we're a team of 230 people in total, where 130 of them are based in Bangalore, Mumbai and Delhi, and then another 100 people in Stockholm. On the subject of the Indian Army, the recommendation list that they have internally, this is an old list that they shared last year, and I believe it's a misconception or a misunderstanding of what Truecaller is, what we stand for, because if you look at that list, it's obvious that they all follow a certain theme, that Truecaller is sort of it's a misfit in that list. So we're having conversations with them to educate them on what Truecaller is, what we stand for, and to be frank, where Truecaller actually comes from. And I think that's an important aspect of it, that there might be some misunderstanding around.
So when this misunderstanding began, and it actually began by Truecaller being part of the 89 apps flagged off and red flagged by the Indian Army. This, of course, the height of COVID-19, when border disputes with China had begun. Is there a misconception or a belief by the Indian Army that Truecaller may actually be Chinese in origin? Or are you funded by the Chinese?
Well, I don't know the reason behind it yet, but we are having discussions with them now to get a better understanding of it. My guess is that they would probably believe that we are a Chinese company, because that happens sometimes. Often when a company grows extremely fast and become extremely popular, people usually tend to think that the product either comes from the US or comes from China. And given Sweden is a small country of 9 million people, and not everyone thinks about Truecaller, or Sweden as the founding place or birth of Truecaller. However, we have a lot of innovation companies in Sweden, like IKEA, Spotify, Volvo, and so forth. But this is something we're going to speak with them about. We don't have any Chinese investors. Not a single one on our cap table, actually, to be frank. But I think it's just a conversation that we need to have with them and educate them on what Truecaller is and what we stand for, basically.
So let me get this straight. You're the co-founder of Truecaller with 130 employees in India and 100 in your home city of Stockholm, gaining popularity in India, banned by the Indian Army. Alan, I repeat, you're saying you have no Chinese investors, you have no Chinese funding, and you're not Chinese. The app is not Chinese at all.
That is correct. We don't have any Chinese investors. We don't even have an office in China. So I think, as I said, I think it's usually people tend to look at successful companies thinking it's either American or it's Chinese. And I think in some way we've done a less of a good job talking about our story, where we come from and why we started Truecaller. That, you know, there were two guys in Stockholm, Sweden, a small city in the world, smaller than, you know, Delhi, basically. And we wanted to solve a problem that we had, which was basically creating trust in communication. And I also want to emphasize that we're not banned by the Indian Army. It's a list of apps that the Indian Army recommends their staff to not use, where Truecaller is on that list. And again, you know, we're an Indian company as well, so I don't think it's an issue. It's not an issue for anyone to use the app. Given, you know, what Truecaller stands for, which is trust, and the problems that we're solving around mistrust, this is the privacy and all these safety aspects of a product is core to our heart, and these are the things that we need to that we're solving on a daily basis.
Right. Okay, so that's the genesis of Truecaller, the problem that you were trying to solve. You're not banned, but you have been red flagged. So if I could just come back to that part, this conception that also exists that are your details on your phone or whatever device you're using Truecaller on, how safe is it? Could that have been the big reason for the red flag by the Indian Army, the data security that could have perhaps been tapped by a third party?
So let me give you two parts of this question. One is we're also an Indian company, which means that all consumer data from our customers in India, we actually process them and store them in our servers in India. So they don't even leave the country. And I believe we were one of the first in the country to actually apply that policy. And there were two reasons why we did that. One was because we stand for trust. And for us, it's important if people feel that it gives more trust to the brand that their data is stored in a country, then we want to go in that direction. And we also want to set a new standard for everyone else. The second reason for it is the closer the data is to your customers, the faster the experience becomes. So for us, it's been extremely important to give you the information about who's calling you or a search that you make instantly. And the closer you are to the customer, the lower the latencies and the faster you can give a great response to your customers. That's, you know, the one part of the answer that I want to give you. The second answer is that given we're also a Swedish company and we started a company here in our hometown, Sweden stands for privacy and safety. Like, we've been one of the first countries in the world to actually think about people's privacy. I mean, I had broadband in my home when I was 15, basically. So internet has been around for many, many years, and you know, we've as a country set certain standards when it comes to safety and privacy and these kind of things. So for us, not only do we need to apply the Swedish regulations that are on data, but this is also a philosophy that we have in the country. And also as founders, we've applied that policy and those workflows. And that's what we've applied to Truecaller since day one. And we would love to see other companies do the same thing.
Okay, so you're saying that you actually spearheaded what we in India call data localization. And are you also saying that when you're governed by Sweden, which you're saying is so secure, has very strict laws, you were not selling this data at all?
Of course not. Of course not. We would never sell our customers' data. I mean, for us as founders, we use our product every single day, which means we want to use a product that we can trust. So, you know, what we tell every single person that joins our company, and I personally tell everyone this, whatever we do as a company, we should be able to stand in front of a camera and tell the world these are the things that we do and these are the things we stand for. If we are not comfortable doing that, then we shouldn't be doing whatever we're doing. So for us, it's quite simple. And if you're using your product every single day and you want to build a product in a way where you can trust the company and trust the brand, then it's easy.
Okay, so what is then your primary source of revenue? You don't sell the data, you help people block millions of SMSs and calls every day. Telemarketers probably hate Truecaller. So what's your primary revenue?
Right. So I think an important, and I mentioned the word trust many times, because that's what people, when you mention Truecaller to our customers, the first word that pops up to their head is trust. We create trust. So for us, it's very important as well that customers trust us by understanding how you make revenues. And why it's important to make revenues is because when you can become a sustainable company and stand on your own legs, that's when you actually can reinvest and put that into the product. So for us, it's very simple and very straightforward. We have two ways of monetizing. One is advertisement, where a majority is being bought by big brands who want to buy, the inventory for a full day, etc., like a billboard advertisement, you could say. Advertisement stands for 70% of our revenues, and the other 30% comes from our subscribers, and they pay a monthly or annual fee to use Truecaller, where they unlock certain premium features such as call recording, add more privacy and safety to your conversations, like call recording, for example. So those are our only two revenue streams where we make money.
And was the premium service doing well in India? The Indian user is very price conscious and usually loves the free offering.
Yeah, absolutely, and I would say that's the case everywhere in the world. People are cost conscious. For us, our ambition is not to get 100% of our base to become premium subscribers. At the moment, we have 1.5 million subscribers around the world, where 1 million of them roughly are in India, and we always play with the A/B test the different pricing levels to see what works, what does not work, what do people think is fair to pay for certain things. And for us, we need to build more value to our customers to make them become, paying subscribers basically of Truecaller.
Okay, I understand that Truecaller has started micro-lending in India that is willing to give personal loans. There's a catch. It'll attract a 16% interest rate from call blocking, message blocking to lending.
Yeah, so for us, we've looked at who are our customers, and we've learned that over 20 million of our active users on Truecaller in India are actually small businesses who use Truecaller as a great utility to make their daily life easier when they communicate with customers and so forth. So what we've seen is that usually when there's a transaction, there's always a conversation that happens before, and that's where Truecaller is involved. So we've tried to build a lending product that makes sense for our small businesses, but also the non-businesses as well. Because we've seen that there's a big need of it, and we've seen how when you can make conversations and transactions much easier and improve that workflow so that people don't need to switch between different apps, then you have done something great from a product perspective. And also we believe that with the large reach that we have to our customers, we actually have an opportunity to negotiate with our lenders to make sure our customers get the best possible deal as well. When you don't have a big amount of customers, it will always be, your lending partners will always have leverage over you in the sense that they can increase the prices in different ways. So we've seen a need, and we've seen how this connects well with communication, and we've seen how we as as a big player in the market, actually can negotiate for the end customer. And this is something that we've rolled out the last couple of weeks, and it's very encouraging to look at the numbers. So we're looking forward to see this going out to a bigger audience very soon.
I was saying that what is Truecaller's future in India? I would imagine the top priority is to convince the Indian authorities that you have no China link, that you're 100% Swedish, large Indian offices, no presence in China, no Chinese shareholder. But after that, what is the future of Truecaller in India? What are your plans?
So our plans is obviously to reinvest in the team, in the product, and long term what we're going to see is building more products for the small businesses who are using Truecaller, as I mentioned, on a daily basis. And we believe that with the product that we have today, we can create a lot of value for the small businesses to increase their visibility, to make their transactional part much more seamless and integrated. And of course, we continue to fine-tune the product, fine-tune the algorithms to make sure that these spammers and fraudsters that call our customers on a daily basis, that we can catch them much faster. So these are the things that we're prioritizing. And of course, as always, we're having conversations with different parts of the government to educate them on what we do and who we are and what we stand for. And I think that's an ongoing project that will continue to be. But I think if you look at the red flag list by the Army and compare that with the actual blacklist of apps, we were not on that list. So obviously those people who compiled that list of 59 apps from China, they obviously did their homework and understood that Truecaller has nothing to do in that list.